What's up, everybody? How's it going? I am live. It's good to see everybody. I wasn't planning on going live. It's very impromptu, but to be honest, I'm bored of doing flashcards, so I feel like talking about crypto. And fortunately, for some reason, people show up when I decide to talk about crypto. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Let's say hi to the chat, and then we'll get into it. I'm just going to talk about a couple things that have been on my mind today. Some cool stuff has been happening, so I wanted to give you all an update on that. And then we'll go as long as you guys have questions. Yeah, let's see. Armin, what's up? How you doing, buddy? Hope you're well. Steven R, good to see you. Hey, what's up, Corey? How you doing, buddy? Appreciate the compliment. Tell you what, if you want to come on, hang out with me, talk about some stuff, let me know, and I'll throw you a link. Hexbug, what's up, man? I hope I don't disappoint. Give you some alpha. Let's see who else. Jam Jam, what's up? DGen Dougie, yo yo yo. Hex Pimp, Hexponential Gains. Let's see. Dave C, what is up? Pohada, whoop whoop. His Excellency Sloth, were you studying flashcards? Yeah, I was. I'm almost at 1,000 for the day. I got a couple more hundred more to go. But first, I'm gonna hang out with you guys. And Herv, I don't even know how to say that. What's up from Sydney, Australia? Oh man, it's morning for you. And hey, what's up, Dane? How you doing, buddy? I just invited Corey on if you wanted to chat while I go over some stuff. You're welcome to come on too. I got really very loose plans for this stream, so yeah, happy to have you guys on and chat for a bit. All right, first, what are we going to talk about today? Pulsechain might be coming out soon. That's pretty exciting. Yeah, I'll shoot you the link. Give me a minute. Pulsechain may be out pretty soon. That's exciting. Shanghai successfully was integrated into V4, and the community has this itch to that Pulsechain's around the corner. I know a lot of people talking May 4th. I think Dane is pretty set on May 10th, if I remember correctly. A lot of people are pretty excited, and looks like the mid-May Richard Hart prediction may come to fruition. I am cautiously optimistic. My gut is saying maybe this coming week and the weekday, which would be pretty sweet. But I'm cautiously optimistic about that. So we are in quite the times, especially with Pulsechain right around the corner, and even more so, even more shocking. Let's see, let me share my screen. Hex is dipping with the prospect of Pulsechain around the corner. So hey, if these people don't want their copies, you can scoop it up for a little less money than before, which is pretty exciting. I'm hoping for a little bit of cash to clear, and yeah, and I'm hoping to scoop up a little bit more, top off my bags a little bit. I guess these bags were a little too heavy for other people, so you got to step in and share the burden a little bit. But yeah, that's the first thing. Let me send some DMs to Dane and Corey. Copy. And let's see if I have them. Where's the best way to reach them? There you are, Corey. All right. Corey sent it on Telegram, and let me get to Dane. All right. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that's the first thing. Nothing really like that groundbreaking is happened with Pulsechain. It's just that we're pretty much right around the corner. What's his name? Brett Brita on Twitter has been running through people talking about how Google employees have been working for him. It's pretty funny. So yeah, that's been exciting. Once Pulsechain actually launched, there'll be a lot more things to talk about. But for now, we just get to sit in anticipation and wait for the fireworks. Yeah. Oh, Hex Mining Hodler. What's up, man? Yeah, I didn't either. Completely impromptu. But yeah. What else? What else is on the docket? Oh, ePhiat has launched. I don't think I talked about this on my last stream, but it has been live for quite a while now, a couple days. What's this? Let's see how long has it been around for? 1 week, about a month now. We're on the fourth month. Pretty crazy, right? So the PH ecosystem has launched their first token and ecosystem or protocol officially. So that's pretty exciting. If I remember correctly, on RH Max's stream, Dylan successfully shorted Hex live and like profited like $200, something like that. So that was actually pretty funny to watch a successful Hex short. But yeah, for the first time ever, you are able to short Hex if you really want to. So that's historic, if I do say so myself. And I think someone already got liquidated trying to short Hex. So another historic event. Let me go to this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do some math on how much it takes. How many coins does it take to be a certain aquatic animal in each of these tokens that we're going to talk about today? Because that's how I like to analyze, how much I want to decide to buy. I really like to shoot for a dolphin position, which is 0.01% of the total supply. And the reason why I want to shoot for that is because looking historically at Hex, the dolphin position, and like the high squid, low dolphin position was like the lowest amount of money you had to put in to reach escape velocity the fastest. Echo is insane. Well, let's bring up Dane. And what's up, man?
What's up, man? The echo seems all right to me. I don't have any audio issues on my end. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Well, hopefully for Mr. Paul, it works itself out. How you doing, Mike?
Dad, I'm doing great. It's fascinating to watch Hex dumping into a potential Pulsechain launch here relatively soon.
I know, right?
There's a lot of speculation about why that may or may not be happening. Depending on what you want to talk about, I think that's a pretty intriguing topic.
Yeah, I think I actually take it as a positive side because it's the opposite of what everybody thinks is going to happen. Everybody thinks like as the anticipation for Pulsechain that's coming right around the corner, like Hex was going to skyrocket. But we're so like exhausted of Pulsechain hype pumps that like now it's like actually around the corner and it's dumping, which actually has me feeling like, you know what, maybe this is actually it.
No, I agree. And you look at, I think so many people forget how Richard has operated in the past. And maybe this is, people on Twitter want to say, well, cope more, call what you will. But Richard, Richard wants to get out the lettuce hands. If you're somebody that's, nervous about Hex price, you were betting on a big pump, to be able to have more capital to get into Pulsechain or PulseX. How do you feel right now if you're not a believer? It's funny. It's almost, it really is like church. Like, how much do you believe right now? And when Pulsechain and PulseX launch, it's better to have dumpers early than late. So I'm for it. It's fine. I position myself in a way that I'm really happy. I'm excited for Pulsechain. I think that we're really close. And when guys like you and me and Brett and some of these other guys that haven't talked about launch being right around the corner, everybody's talking about it now. It finally feels real, which is exciting.
Yeah. My opinion, everything's really going to change on mainnet launch. It's like the entire landscape of like the RH Hex ecosystem like has completely changed. And so I'm excited to see what happens. Like whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, at the very least, it's exciting. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity. I think we got to shake some people out at the beginning to get those intense X's that at least I think are possible. So I would advise people to mentally prepare for that possibility. You get a 10x, and some people have a crazy amount of money, and so obviously people are gonna take profits on that. So,
spot on. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I brought up the liquidity chart because I think it's a good way to frame kind of what's happening with Hex right now. A lot of the liquidity was out here in this range previously at the like 8 cents range for a while, and if I pull up the chart. the 7 to 8 cent range, I believe, is right here. Yep. So let's go. Let's do a horizontal line about 7, and then we'll do 8. And so we saw a decent amount of trading happening in this range. And if you guys remember, like here, there was a little bit more liquidity, and then there was a liquidity gap, and then you had this big range from 3 to 5 cents. And so this was kind of acting as a magnet for like the price to be pulled back to it, because that's where like you could get the best order execution. And my kind of hypothesis for a while, and this is something that Axis talked about too, was that price was probably going to get back into this range, start trending downwards either to the middle or below it. And that's going to allow larger players who want to get like by millions, tens of millions of hex at a time to be able to get good order execution while they're doing that. So I feel this is a pretty natural dip down to a high liquidity range, and it's going to allow new entrants to gain a decent position. So allowing the people who don't want to be in an exit, and allowing the people who want in a reasonable entry price and order execution.
Well, talk about, so I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I love your perspective on it. There's, people all over Twitter that are still saying, pack your bags for your free copy, which I think is great, right? If you love Hex and you want to get more copies. The question that I have in my head is, theoretically, Richard and his team, and once again, this is 100% speculation. Who knows? Nobody does.
Yeah.
But, I think we're starting to get into a trickier time where, at least in the short term, it's a bit of a gamble to go and buy things purely or largely for the idea that you get a free copy at this point. Because Richard and his team, and once again, I'm not a dev, so who knows? But I would estimate it probably takes anywhere from a few days to maybe a week or so. And shout out to Corey, and he's been working with Gamma. It sounds like that's a reasonable estimate for taking the forking Ethereum and then spinning everything up. We've got there will be a little bit of a break of time there. And so, God forbid, I think there's some people that are buying now with hopes that they get a free copy that they can then go dump for Pulsechain and PulseX when it launches. And it would be unfortunate to not get that copy and then see Hex, at least in the short term, dump. And where does that leave a lot of people? I'm not worried about it because I'm not positioning myself that way. But I think that if you've been thinking those thoughts, it may be wise to rethink them. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree with you. That's definitely like a portfolio management and like risk management question, where it's like if you're looking for that short-term trade or that short-term opportunity to flip that copy into the coins that you actually want, but you're overextending yourself to do that, then you're putting yourself in a situation where the downside risk of investing is going to almost even potentially force you to sell, force you to exit, because you can't afford to take on that loss. So I think, for somebody who say I was in a consult and somebody was expressing that idea to me, my advice generally would be something along the lines of, well, are you okay holding the Hex that you're buying at this price point for a long period of time and potentially seeing the price go down? And if like psychologically you can't handle it, or like you had to pay bills with the money, or like if you're diving into your nest egg, your emergency fund, like I'd strongly advise against that and start framing it in terms of like, how much Hex do I want for 2024, 2025? And then accumulate that with the investable funds that you have based on your individual situation. That way you're...
I like it. I think there's potentially a lot of wisdom in sitting in stables right now too. I can just tell you guys, I think I see some of the people in the questions, and once again, I could be way off. So, you've got to make your own financial decisions. But for me, I really like my Hex positions. I like my Hex staking ladder. I feel really good about that right now. And so I'm sitting largely in stables. A lot of people say, oh, but stables won't hold any value when they get copied over. Oh, I know. I'm not going to hardly get any value out of the stables, but that's not the purpose of holding the stables. The purpose in the short term is to be able to protect my downside. So I know what money I have to bridge into Pulsechain and PulseX. And I'm of the mindset that I don't think doing the Hex swap like everybody has been talking about for 2 years at this point is going to be the most favorable way to do that. So that's how I positioned myself, and I feel good about it for my bags.
Yeah, having stables won't have any value on Pulsechain, but you will have that value on Ethereum when Pulsechain launches.
Right.
So, like, let's say you have $10,000 of stables. Like, for a fact that you're going to have $10,000 of purchasing power when mainnet goes live and the bridge is open to bring that money in. And at some point, the money that you bring in to like these assets, especially if the price goes up, doesn't move your bag percentage wise as drastically. And so it gets to a point where it's like, okay, do I really want to spend, say you have $1,000 every month to invest? That's your budget, right? And for a while, that $1,000 is bumping up your bag, maybe at the beginning 50%. You're increasing your coins by 50%, but then the next month's at 30%. Then eventually it gets to the point, if the price has gone up and you've bought with discipline for a couple months, maybe it's only 2%, maybe it's only 3% or 5%. And at some point, you got to be like, is continuing to allocate to this specific coin, let's just say Hex for instance, economically efficient? Is there another thing that I can accumulate where my money would go further?
Right. And it's interesting to consider, yeah, because I know we've got a lot of people in the community, me, you and I both, really excited about Hex and Hedron and Icosa, Pulsechain, Pulsex. We feel really good about the upside of those, here in in the next, whatever your time frame may be, but that won't always be necessarily the best opportunity right now for your dollars, depend upon what you want to accomplish. And so it's interesting to consider.
Yep. And I think I'm coming up on 2 years in May in crypto, which is actually pretty crazy to think about. But like over these 2 years, like my mindset has really changed from like trying to do the most optimal thing, and it's shifted to doing the thing that I can be okay with psychologically. Yeah. Where I believe there's a high probability that I'm going to realize maybe 80%, 70% of what the optimal trade would be in retrospect.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, if I can be like 90% sure or 99% sure that the bags that I'm going to have, say at the end of the bull market, I'm going to be able to take out a 50x. Maybe it does 100x, but my average price out is a 50x. Right, like that, having that,
you'd have crushed the game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You'd crushed it, as long as, and I think you nailed it. Having the expectation that hey, you're probably not going to buy the perfect bottom and sell the perfect top, and you don't need to. A lot of people are, they're like, oh, I'm going to go get a 10,000x. Look, I hope we go and get one, but if that's your expectation, I think you leave yourself with a lot of room for disappointment. Whereas, like you just said, if you have a more conservative, target, and for me, I'd rather have a more conservative target and smash that in the event that things really go pretty nuts. And I've been looking at my own Pulsechain, Pulsex strategy, and just like you've said, I've made some decisions over the last number of years that I won't be doing again. And so I've developed my strategy where more recently what I've decided is I take half my economic energy that I have to bridge in. I plan on pretty well all my copies, just leaving them alone. Because once again, I like those positions a lot. I did them specifically not to go get more Pulsechain and Pulsex. There he is. What's up, Corey?
What's up, guys?
Is it noon on a weekday? What's going on?
No, but
good to have you, man. Yeah, keep going. Dan.
Yeah. The stuff that I bought, and Corey and I have thought about this. We've talked about this a lot off air, but I didn't buy the things that I bought in order to get a copy and do something special with them. I bought them because I like those assets long term. I like them for the next few years, and then I have additional capital to bridge in. And so I'm going to take at least my current plan, and Corey has a little bit different strategy. So I think it's interesting to be able to hear from him, but I think I'm going to take about half my stack and I'm going to bridge in. That's going to be a very standard DCA strategy. I'm going to, go in and just buy a consistent amount over a specified period of time, no matter what price action is doing. But emotionally and mentally, I want to make sure that I have requisite capital on the sidelines to go buy big dips. There will be big dips somewhere, and some of the assets that I like, there just will be. And I hate not having the capital because I went too heavy on a DCA strategy when those opportunities occur, and I feel like I've shot myself in the foot. And so I'm going to keep half of my money on the sidelines. I have a pretty specific DCA strategy if and when those dips occur. And I feel really good about that emotionally, mentally. I don't feel like I need to rush off and do anything in particular. And I feel like I'm taking a much more wise approach than younger crypto Dane would have taken.
I hear you. Yeah, man. What's up, Corey? Glad to have you, man.
What's up, brother? Yeah, man. Yeah. It was good timing. We were getting ready to have dinner here in a little bit, but it's cooling off. So I got a good 20, 30 minutes. So this is good.
I'll leave Corey with you. I got to go jump off and grab my son from a birthday party. So thanks for having me on
good.
briefly. Hope you guys have a great
brother.
weekend.
Hey, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I'll see you, man. All right, 20 minutes with Corey Geary. Let's go. How you doing, buddy?
Man. I mean, this is a good conversation right here. And what's the strategy? And I was on a Twitter feed just about 10 minutes ago, man, discussing this, and the guy's like complaining about how the hex price is just been plummeting for the last, basically 2 weeks, and on a consistent downtrend in a channel. And he's like, man, I'm losing all my economic energy for Pulsechain. And it's like, man, you shouldn't be parking all your economic energy inside of Hex if that was your intention, was to get Pulse and Pulse X, right? I think that's a wrong play. And I said, man, you should be buying Hex because you want Hex.
Yep.
Exactly. I just feel like it's not the play. And I think RH knows this. And RH, man, he's a pretty good market maker. And I mean, he's got the OA coins, and plus with Pulsechain now he's got $2 billion behind him. And those wallets,
like
and
the war chest.
Yeah, he's got a war chest, man. And I mean, he did a great job, I feel like, and who knows if it's him, right? Maybe it's Greg the Duck. Remember when Hex was like that 3-cent range, and it sat there for like 6 months? It was like a stable coin.
Yeah, it does that every once in a while. For like 3 to 6 months, it'll just sit in like a half a cent, like a 5% range.
Right. Why does it do that, though? You know what I mean? And that's because we probably have a market maker. We probably have a Greg the Duck in the background, pulling a few strings here and there. And I'm cool with that. I love that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think he's kind of let go of that for now, because I think he wants to let his hands out. I think he wants the market to kind of capitulate again, and for people to, get the haters out, get the people who want to sell for Zen out, and I think he knows that. And that's my theory. And so I'll be loading up on some more Hex if we get down, a little bit lower. We're almost in the range where I want to be at to start DCAing again. And I just don't feel – I never believed Hex was the play to get Pulse. Now, there's an exception to that. The exception is if you're holding Hex, liquid Hex, and you're holding it way past the bridge, like way past the bridge, like maybe a couple months, maybe 3 or 4 months, and you give Hex time, P-Hex, to really find a value over there, and maybe it's that value is 20 cents, 10 cents, I don't know, right? But you give it time, and then maybe you use that to swap into Pulse or PulseX down the road. But it's definitely nowhere near pre-bridge, in my opinion.
I hear you, man. Those are all great points, and I think the biggest thing that you said is like you don't buy an asset for like to store the value in unless you want that asset. Like unless you're okay with holding those coins for X amount of time, or at least until 2024, 2025, with the expected, plus minus 50% that comes with crypto pretty regularly, you probably shouldn't be putting your dry powder there.
Yep. 100%. And the guy was crying on Twitter about it. And I'm just like, bro, man, you should be buying Hex because you want Hex. I mean, that's it's plain and simple. My strategy to go after these assets, they're a little bit different than Dane's, what he was just talking about. Now I'll share it real quick. So I'll be bridging, stable coins over. I'm holding stables for the, specifically Pulse, because I missed the Pulse sacrifice. I got into Pulse X, and my goal is if Pulse launches at a 1 to 3x, I'm aping in at a 1 to 3x. If it's a 4 to 5x, I'm aping half in, and then the other half of my bag, I'll be doing a DCA strategy over the course of 3 months.
Mhm.
If it's 6 to 9x from the sacrifice price, which is a decimal, 3 zeros and a 1, I'm a quarter in, and then DCA over the next 3 months. And then a 10x and above, it's just DCA over the course of 3 months, which with the rule is retroactive for me. So like say we're a month in, say it launches at 11x, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to DCA. Well, then a month in, it dips down and it's only a 2x from sacrifice price. Oh shit, I'm aping in. Like I'm all in at that point with the rest of my bag that I had intended for DCA in. And so that's my DCA strategy overall. And everyone should have one. And write it down, put it on a Excel spreadsheet and follow it. Don't FOMO, don't buy green candles just because you missed out, right? And so like that's very important to check your emotions, because crypto, man, the FOMO is real, bro.
Yeah, the FOMO is real, the euphoria is real,
Oh,
the depression is
God.
real. All of it. It's all heightened emotions unless you have a good strategy like you outlined. I think that's a really great comprehensive DCA strategy where like you've kind of taken into account all situations, and like you got your ape number, and I'm sure you ape in, you have your plan, you aped in, and you're okay if it goes a little bit lower.
Yeah, and I'm okay if it goes a little bit lower. I will save another, just from conversating with other guys in the community, Dane being one of them. I will save another bag on the side, like maybe 25% of my dry powder, where it will be like Dane's strategy, where I'm going to be shopping for whatever is like the deepest on sale, right? If PHEX is, 80% down from whatever it launched at, or, it's nothing but red candles, I'll be shopping for those deals. And those will be kind of like, I want to have a bag just for my buying the discount, buying the dip.
The fire sale bag, right? The fire sale cash.
Bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we see Hedron just getting obliterated, oh man, are you kidding me? I'm gonna be going in there. I'm gonna be picking some of that asset up, right? And it's gonna be fun, man. But there's gonna be a lot of people who are they're just gonna wreck themselves buying green candles. Buying Pulse right out of the gate, buying Pulse X maybe right out of the gate. Everyone's anticipating Pulse X to dump, Pulse to pump, but everyone also anticipated for Hex to pump leading into the fork, and that's obviously not the case.
Right. Yeah. For ratio tradings, there's no way to know what's actually going to happen. But like if you're looking to do it, like just make sure you have the coin that's pumping. Don't trade the coin that's being sold for the other coin. Trade the coin that's being bought. So like if Pulse is pumping relative to Pulse X, you shouldn't ratio trade unless you have Pulse. You shouldn't be going with the crowd. You have to go against the crowd. And then it takes really two trades to successfully ratio trade, because you want to go one way and then wait for the price to come back down to rebuy the initial bag that you had. So not only does it have to keep going, not only do you have to catch it the one way, but you also have to undo the trade the other way as well.
Yes.
Once it retraces. So if it doesn't retrace, the ratio trade was unsuccessful because you did it too early. Right. But if it does retrace, that's when you like rebuy the previous bag that you have. So you have to be right in both directions to do it successfully.
And that's pretty advanced strategy, you know what I mean? Figuring out all those numbers and crunching it, on the fly when everything's going on and there's massive green candles and red candles everywhere. And so that's why the majority of like our onboards, when they're asking, we're just like, nah, just hold stables, do a DCA strategy. When we see a big dip, we'll announce it in our Telegram, let everyone know, hey, this would be a good buy right now. Because man, it's just it's easy to get wrecked ratio trading.
I'm leaning towards the do nothing strategy. That's where my default.
You got a giga brain. You'll be all right. I feel like you'll spot out the opportunities and then you'll capitalize.
I'm just I'm gonna wait and see if something obvious comes across my desk. And if something obvious doesn't come across my desk, then I'm just gonna leave it, because I've like we've been talking about, I've accumulated in a way where I'm happy with the number of coins I'm gonna have on the ETH side and the Pulsechain side. So if I don't do anything, I'm gonna be happy.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Here's
So and me too, man. I'm happy with my Hedron bag. I'm happy with my Icosa bag. I'm happy with my Hex bag. You know, do I want more? Sure. If it goes on fire sale, I'll pick it up.
Yep. Here's an interesting question. See, can you boys talk like a massive Pulse X sacker and tell us what you would do in the first days? So it's like if you were like one of like say the top 5 wallets and like that was your bag, what would you be doing on the first couple days?
I mean, wow, I would be sitting on my hands.
Yeah.
Because your bags are fully packed. I mean, obviously you could try to make a trade one way or the other. If you saw like you got, I don't know, 10 Pulse X for your Pulse on a racial trade. Obviously, that's going to probably be a good trade in the long run. I mean, no one has a crystal ball, but ideally you could do that. Or if you saw P-Hex, you know, P-Hex and Pulse X, right? Those could get on a pretty serious discount, potentially pre-bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Yep.
if you're looking out for those deals.
I would definitely at the beginning when I get a couple X's sell a little bit. And
Sure.
then use that like 5% at most, and then I'd use those stables that I got, and I provide liquidity with like 10% of my bag. Because when you're it's going to be V2 liquidity, so it's like you can't concentrate it or do like a single side, so you need some stables. So if I had some on the side, I would use that. If not, I would take a cut with however much I need to pair with my Pulse X, and that way, like I want to do with like 10% of my bag, I would let the market buy my coins up on the way up, basically.
Yeah.
And then if they're buying it on the way down, if they're selling into my liquidity, well, then that would just allow me to be an even bigger player in the system. And maybe I just pulled the liquidity there and wait for the price to go up before I threw the liquidity in. So like if I have that big of a bag, like it kind of taking 10% and LPing with it, I'm happy either way it goes. I either become bigger in the system or I am able to successfully exit out of like that large percent of that large position.
And earn some fees and maybe incentive token on top of all that.
Exactly.
Right? It's
when you have that big of a bag, you can really play around with small percentages and then make a huge difference in terms of like brute dollar value. You know,
agree 100%.
Yeah. So I think that person, market making with a nice percentage of the bag would be my initial plan for sure. And then the rest of it, if for PulseX, I'd be staking. The rest of it, single-sided staking, just accumulating as many secondary coins that I can. And then Pulsechain, I would probably wait until like Alex forked like Rocket Pool, because I wouldn't want to be validating personally with a large number of validators, because that's kind of like a job, like a server, like an IT guy job, and I don't really want that personally. I know you've been doing it. Well, yeah, tell me how involved is it?
Yeah, it's not too horrible. It's a Saturday, full of work on a Saturday, right? Maybe 2 to 4 hours to get everything up and going. But man, once it's going, it runs
on its own.
Yeah. Unless there's an update you got to do. Like obviously we had like the Shanghai update, and you had to go in there and change the flags and stuff like that. But like, we're not going to have that once mainnet comes. And once it's going, it's pretty automated. Obviously, if you were going to go in there and add in more validators, you're going to have to change that. But like other than that,
that's good to know. Well, then maybe I'd learn how to validate if I had a bunch, trying to get some API on the Pulse chain.
Yeah, it runs on its own. It just sits in the background and does its thing, and it's kind of cool. Like you go and look at it, and it's like looking at the Matrix, different like stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not a techie guy at all. Like I had to hire Gamma to teach me.
Yeah. I think I want to do at least one validator just to like participate, like be part of the system.
Yeah.
Like know that I'm like helping secure the network. Like that'd be kind of cool. But from like trying to pump out some APY, it's probably not for me. And I think I would only do it with like 50% of my Pulse chain stack at most, just in case I get slashed or something. But I think I remember Feeder saying something like, the amount of time you're down or like you miss a block, like you make it up proportionally. So like if you miss an hour, it takes an hour to get it back. Yeah.
The only way you really get slashed is if you're running two validators. So if you have two different computers with your validators on there and you're running with the same keys, that's when you get slashed. Like if you're down for a week that's not slashing. It basically, yeah, you get some rewards taken away from you, but literally by running another week up and going, you've made up the rewards, and you're
Gotcha.
it's the same. Like, so yeah, the slashing thing, man. That's only if like you're switching computers or you're trying to do something nefarious. Obviously, I don't know how you could do nefarious stuff with two different validators. That don't make sense to me. People do it. That's why there's a slashing, that's why there's a discipline for that, right? So that's why there's
There's a penalty for that. Yeah.
a penalty. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I hear you.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. But it's been awesome seeing so many people giving a lot of public and free information, and then also being available one-on-one to help people individually.
Oh, it's been awesome.
I think it's a big testament to the strength of the community that we have people doing that.
Oh, best community ever, man. I mean, the stuff I've learned between being a node validator, LP, and I took, I was in the Urine Access Alive's LP course. I mean, that was chopped full of knowledge. Literally, dude, I implemented a lot of this stuff. Access Alive kind of give us like a direction where he foresaw the hex going down in that channel. And I set my LP positions accordingly. I was catching the falling knife, if you will, with my LP position both times, and that I did pretty well in the last couple of weeks. So I'm happy with that.
Well, I'm glad you guys liked the course. I was pretty happy with how it turned out. Very happy with the reception. And so Marcel has a question. The next one is probably this summer. We're probably going to be doing another one. I think we might extend it one day. We're in the background talking and reorganizing and trying to add a couple new things too. So we're going to run it back again. Don't worry, man.
Nice.
Yeah, we're not going to sell the recording. We're probably just going to be doing live classes periodically. And we also have some plans for some other kinds of live courses as well, outside of just LPA. So we'll be announcing that as we get that together. Yeah. And then also, Marcel, another question. I don't have a Telegram group, actually. So pretty much, you want to support me, super chats, purchase a consult. But as of right now, I don't have any kind of like private group that I run personally. I usually, if Silver asks me to come in again on a Discord, if he opens it in the future, that's usually what I do. But I don't have anything personally. But yeah. Let's see. Oh, here's a good question. What do you guys think will be the top 2 ratio traded coins before Bridge opens up? PLSX or PLSS? Pulse Hex.
I honestly think my personal opinion is the Pulse Hex ratio, just because, like, for example, the guy on Twitter today, he was so upset because he bought Hex so he could have the copies and swap into Pulse and Pulse X because he missed both sacrifices. I'm assuming. And I feel like still 90% of the community, the narrative, that's what they've been teaching, man. Buy Hex so you can get the copy and swap it So if I can get like a decimal with 2 zeros on my Hex, I am going big.
Well, for me, let's see, Hex. For me, I think 1 million Hex is a really, really good number to shoot for. And the reason why is because every 30 days, you can print 7,000 Hex basically for free. And so, that's, at 50 cents, that's about $4,000, almost $4,000 monthly. And then at $1, that's seven grand every single month. And then you lose a little bit because the T-share rate goes up. But and then also you have like the value of the Hex, the 1 million Hex at the same time. So I think you get sub 1 cent Hex, then it only takes $10,000 to get 1 million Hex.
Yeah. And I mean, $7,000 a month. I mean, most people like who go to college for 8 years don't make that. I mean, it's,
right? $7,000 a month, 7,000 times 12. That's an $84,000 salary.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good living. You can live off that,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And I'm of the opinion that one day both eHex and pHex will flip $1 as support. Right, so I think that will happen one day. Whether it's this bull cycle or next bull cycle, I think there will be one day where people will be saying, "I hope Hex goes to $1 so I can accumulate a lot." And the reason why, it's the same actually argument that the reason why I think this can happen is it's the same argument that Bitcoin people have, where it's like there are more than 21 million millionaires in the world, so not every single one can own a single Bitcoin, right? So like that's why Bitcoin could go to $1 million one day. Well, 1 million hex is kind of like that one Bitcoin in a way. I'm equating the two, where it's like with $1 million, you can still get 1 million hex at $1 hex. So it is obtainable for people who have a lot of money and want to get in. It's still attainable for them to get a lot of hex. They have to put up a lot of money.
Yep.
But you know this, for some people, $1 million is like the size that they go in for investments. Like that's not, it's a lot of money for somebody like me, but in the grand scheme of like the total, like how much money is out there and how much wealth people accumulate, it's not that much. So like $1 hex, you can still get a lot of hex with $1 million. And that's why I think that can be flipped to support one day.
Oh my God. I would, please. That would be amazing. I have staked a lot of hex for the next market cycle from 2025. I created a ladder going back.
Wait, hold on. We got an interesting. Let's see if this is actually true.
Oh, what?
Let's see. Let's go. Is Pulse live? Is PLS live? Let's see.
It would be all over Twitter. Let me log on Twitter here.
Let's see if we got trolled. I want to see. It's too worth.
You can look at KDP. You can look at Gamma, KDP, Walrus.
Yep. I'm scrolling through Twitter. I don't see it yet. So link the tweet, unless you're trolling us, Peter.
I don't see it either.
Yep.
It would be all over.
Yeah, I should see it immediately.
I mean, I hope he's right.
Yeah, Hexland website said he got us. He got me. That was funny. Anyways, where were we at? What were we talking about?
I have no idea anymore. He said Pulse is
$1
live.
Hex. Yeah, Pulse is live. Everybody stop. We're talking about how I think Hex can be flipped to $1 as support. Because it's still attainable to get 1 million Hex with $1 million.
For a wealthy person, absolutely.
Person, yeah.
Think about like what would Hedron be worth at $1 hex? What is Icosa worth at $1 hex? And I know you've crunched some of those numbers before in the past with some spreadsheets and stuff, but man, it would be just phenomenal.
Let's crunch it right now. I built a website just for this, Corey.
I know you did, man.
All right, let's grab the current T-share rate because that's the more conservative number. Yeah. I timed out Peter Smith. You don't get to troll me like that without punishment.
He went to timeout.
Yeah. All right. So at $1 in the current T-share rate, so this is the most conservative number. It is a tenth of a penny is the ceiling price. Now we're well below that, but at 90% off, it's a hundredth of a penny, which is pretty high.
That's still 3 zeros only.
3 zeros. So we're that's over 100x, I believe, from now because we got we got 5 zeros, I think, right now. Now I think we're like closer to 96, 97% off. So like to get to that 90% Hedron, we need to gain relative to Hex a bit, but I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I think 90% off is like a reasonable place where Hedron could be relative to the ceiling price. Yeah. So there you go. There's your moon math, guys.
Oh my God.
You know what? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. What's Icosa gonna be? Right.
Let's look at that one, man. Because
So the ceiling price there is about $40. And then if we're about where we're at now, which is between 70 and 90, 75% and 90% off, we're between $4 and $10.
Oh my God, it's still massive. Yeah. I think Icosa has a good possibility of being at a ceiling price if Alex implements this new rocket pool with the Icosa being the insurance token, adding another real world use case. It could be explosive.
Yep. And this is Fast Abdul brings up a great point. What will Icosa be worth if it's used for collateral when Alex forks rocket?
Right.
Yep. I've been
Right.
so I try not to talk about it too much because I don't want to put like any expectations out there or like any like expectations on Alex to like build something for like the thing that he built. But I always thought like Icosa would be a really, really good coin to plug into any future protocols or any future protocols that he makes that have fees associated with them. You know, so it's like kind of how in the PH ecosystem they have each coin that you stake to get the fees of the
Yep.
platform. I always felt anything that Alex builds, Icosa would be a really good coin to plug into those to be able to capture the yield if he wanted to distribute it to the community. I think he has the perfect coin to do that already, and that way the income from the protocols that he build would fuel the entire. It would from the ground up, from the most abstracted point down to the most fundamental point, which is Hex.
Exactly.
It would fund that revenue that the thing that Alex builds, which he's going to build something amazing and useful. In my opinion, like I don't think he would waste his time to build something that isn't good.
No.
So that money would then flow down from Icosa to Hedron, and then eventually it would reach the Hex, or it could reach directly to Hex if people arbitrage the ceiling price.
Exactly, which would bring up the price of Hex.
Yep, and then it would get that whole flywheel thing going. So I think Rocket Pool. I think Rocket Pool is going to be the first iteration of that. And then I'll speculate. I'm going to speculate. I have no inside information about this. Alex hasn't talked to me about this at all, but I speculate that more things that he builds, if it makes sense to plug Icosa into it, he will probably more than likely do that than not. If it makes sense. There may be things that he builds where it doesn't make sense for Icosa to be plugged into it.
It's his baby.
That's a possibility. Yep.
They're his baby,
Exactly.
and I mean, he loves to build. I mean, he's building that freaking data center. Like, have you seen that thing? I go to his Instagram once in a while. And he'll post like videos and pictures. It's massive. I'm like, this guy is like the most gigabrain person in our community.
Yep. It's impressive what he's building. And that was where I first got the idea where I'm saying like, okay, he's looking to build more on Pulsechain, maybe not from a token perspective, but from an infrastructure perspective.
Right, but then he can tie the infrastructure stuff into the tokens he's already built.
Exactly. Because you can, like once you have an ERC20, I always say, I think coin tokens, ERC20s, and even NFTs, they're an endpoint to funnel value into. So like you identify some piece of value, and then you make the token or the NFT the thing that you need to access that value. Yeah. Real quick, MoonPie had a good question. What's the difference between Polygon Hex versus Ethereum Hex, and how did it reach parity? So it's very simple. It's just a bridged over token. It's a wrapped version of Ethereum. So like you bridge over one ETH to Polygon, and then you get a wrapped version of Hex. And then if we bridge over one Hex, you get one wrapped Hex on Polygon. So you can swap it one for one, which is why it's at parity. But you can't stake the wrapped version on Polygon. There is no Hex contract over there.
Right, and you can go back through the bridge with your wrapped Hex, because technically it's kind of the same thing, except for it's just a representation of Hex on that chain. So that's why it is parity. So you got to remember the E-Hex and P-Hex will be two completely different assets. Yep. Not the same.
Yeah. You can bridge each of them to the other chain, but if you do, you can't stake that bridge asset on that chain.
Correct. They're now wrapped.
It's a wrapped version of it. Yeah. I don't know if you heard, but I think Alex, for the Rocket Pool thing, was even considering being able to stake tokenized Icosa stakes. So kind of like how you can wrap a Hex stake into an HSI, you would have a way to wrap basically a smart contract that does the Icosa staking into like a similar technology. And then you could use that wrapped Icosa stake, that wrapped wallet basically, as your collateral for your Rocket Pool validator.
Whoa. And will that stake, so it'll be movable? I can sell that.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like just like an HSI is like, it's a smart contract that can execute all the functions on the Hex contract.
Right.
You could use that same concept, but just do it with the functions in the Hedron contract and Icosa contract where you stake them. And then you can wrap that smart contract into an NFT. It's the exact same concept as HSIs. But instead of a hex stake instance, it'll probably be like an ICOSA stake instance. So an ISA or ISI. ISI and HS. Yeah, another HSI, Hedron stake instance.
Right. Yeah. Man, he's my second favorite dude in crypto.
I've heard you say that.
Hands down,
it's probably just because you got so many cheap T shares on that big HSI auction day.
Dude,
you killed it, man.
90% off. I was picking those things up for.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and Alex gave me that opportunity to get it would have never been there before. Otherwise, I had to buy hex off the market to do that, to get that many T-shares. And it's hard, man. Think about it. If you want to go after like a dolphin position, even a squid position, if you're just now coming in the ecosystem and you don't have a crap ton of money, and if you're not loaded and you're like, man, I want to get a squid position in hex, it takes a lot of economic energy to go ahead and establish that squid position. And if you're going for a dolphin position, oh my God. I remember when a dolphin position was millions of dollars. And so like Alex has created something to give people the opportunity to go after those, those positions. I mean, it's been phenomenal. And I think there's some good ones going on today, by the way. I don't know if you saw that, but there's some
big ones are coming up.
Yeah, there's some big ones today. I haven't really messed around too much, but I saw Alex talking about it on Twitter. I'm afraid to look at it. As soon as I start looking at it, then I'm like, I get FOMO and I want to go and buy some Hedron. And with all my Hedron is staked, I have to go buy Hedron and then, and then go.
You got to pump our bags, man. You got to pump our bags if you want it.
We got all my Hedron is staked. I'm not going to unstake it.
Yep, we got a 66% discount ending in 7 minutes.
Oh, you see?
66%. Yep, 64% in 10 minutes. And this is good. This is actually a good segue. Alex updated all the sites, so that if you go over like each of the stake hex, the ICOSA value, you get the dollar value, and if you hover over the wallet, you get how much Hedron that they have.
It's great.
The current bid dollar value, and then you get how much of a discount. So this is a 66% discount, and then this is at a negative 3% discount, which means you're overpaying 3%
in ICOSA terms.
Yeah. In terms of like how much ICOSA you could exchange that HSI for, you're getting 3% less value if you analyze it that way. But you're still getting a hex deal, which is why you would still be wanting.
Do you know what this does? This is going to burn even more Hedron. And I could be wrong about this, but I'm speculating here. I don't think the deals will be as deep now because it's right in your face. How good of a deal it is, where before you had to like crunch it on a calculator or spreadsheet or go to your website or do something like that. So there was some resistance there you had to go through to find if it's a good deal or not. Now it's there on the website. So I feel like it, and I could be wrong, but I don't know if the big massive deals will be there anymore.
Yeah, rip this good HSI deal calculator. It's done. It's superfluous. You don't need it anymore. It's done. I got buried. It had a good run.
It had a good run.
Let's see what's going on. And let's do April 29th. Let's do 28 to May 1st. And this is on hexmodel.com. So May 1st, we got a bunch coming out. I think it was a couple of days ago. It was maybe yesterday. There was a bunch coming out. Or the day before. Nope. Let's go back a little bit more.
Remember, all your HSI stakes you're buying right now in the auctions, they get copied over to Pulsechain.
Yep. You're two for the price of one, basically.
Oh, I mean, we don't know the value of them, but man, it's
May 4th is the next big day. So there's 2,000 T-shares coming out that day. And I believe one of them is 1,000 T-share one. So
holy crap. How much hex is that? Does it say there? How much
10 million.
10 million hex.
Crazy, right?
I bet you that goes for a massive discount because I tend to see that the bigger the stakes are, the more of a discount versus the actual dollar value. Like the small ones you might be able to get like 40, 50% off, but the big ones you can get 80, 90. It's been insane.
Yeah, because not that many people have enough disposable hedron to be competitive.
Right.
So it's like a 90% discount on 10 million hex is still, well into the 5 figures of like hedron that you need. So some people don't even have that much. And even if they did have that much, they don't want to lose their entire hedron position for 1 hex stake. So it's like only the people with like big minting bonuses or like big deep pockets can actually compete with them, which means they go for more of a discount.
I mean, yeah, we're still in a bear market. You know what I mean? Yeah. The economy is not the greatest right now, so it's I don't.
How many people can lock up funds for 15 years like that kind of money for 15 years?
Yeah, that too, right? It's like and not worry. But now, obviously, you do have a couple options. You can sell to the ICOSA contract, get some of your value back out, and then or you could you could sell it on OpenSea, and hopefully someone can come in but you'd still probably end up selling at a pretty deep discount.
Yeah, and here are those numbers for like how much it costs to be a squid. The cheapest you can get it for is $45,000 in 15 years of your time.
That's for 15 years.
Yeah.
So
I guess technically, if you wanted to do the shortest amount of time, 10 years of your time. So if you wanted the least amount of money and the least amount of your time to get a squid position, you need 45 grand and 10 years of time.
You see that?
And the time aspect is actually more important to me than the money aspect. Right?
Me too. Oh, me too.
Yeah,
for sure. That means if you wanted a dolphin, you add a 0 to that.
Yep.
It's $450,000. So $500,000, or you can go on the HSI auctions and probably get that for 70 to 90% off, depending on the stake and the circumstances going on at the time. It's just, man, I feel like the HSI auctions is probably one of the best opportunities in this bear market. Yeah, hands down.
And this is also one of my arguments on like why hedron is so discounted right now, because the numbers that I ran before is that in order to mint 1 billion hedron for a new stake you're making today, you need 180 T-shares for 15 years, right? And so 180 T-shares is like 1.5 million hex. And then you also need 15 years of your time, because you need all 5 days to be able to mint 1 billion hedron. So it's like when you're you can reframe that and say, whenever I'm buying 1 billion hedron, I'm buying 180 T-shares and 15 years of time. Like that's like what 1 billion hedron is technically worth now, moving forward. Yeah,
that's insanity. And what's the average stake length right now in hex? Because if you would
7.5.
So you would say, okay, so maybe not this market cycle, which I think it will do fine this market cycle, but next market cycle on the bull run, probably the majority of your 10x multipliers will be out of the system. The majority of them. You'll still have some.
I have a chart somewhere. I don't remember where it is, but I'll try to find it really quickly. But it basically shows the emission rate of ICOSA of hedron in terms of like when all the mintable hedron is available. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. If not,
because that's very important if you're trying to like predict when moon for hedron, right? It's like
Drew Young drew it up for me, the HSI Watch creator.
Oh, that guy's great.
He drew it up for me really quickly. But basically, I believe by like 2030 maybe? About 2030 is when we get a large bump down of all the stuff. I think I'll search for 2 more seconds. And if I can't find it, then
that makes sense, because what is that? That's 7 years.
Yep. 2029, 2030, I believe what it is when there's just this deep drop off of all
and that's the next market cycle.
Yeah.
Like from this one, that could be
to the next one.
Yep. Massive.
So you just gotta wait it out. And they're immutable contracts, so you know they're gonna be around. Whether or not people are participating is a different question. But that drop off is gonna happen. Guaranteed.
If you believe in hex, then you're probably going to be fine with hedron and ICOSA.
Yeah.
You got to wait a little bit longer, but I mean, you're waiting anyways with your hex stakes, especially if you got 5. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be massive, bro.
Yep.
I
Now,
think.
Fast Abdul with the 555.
There we go.
Canadian. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Will there be TETRA strategies that combines Alex rocket pool fork with ICOSA and Hedron stakes for endless perpetual gains?
Oh my god!
I know. You and Dan have been interested in TETRA. You had Stu on, right?
We did. I love that
Yeah.
protocol, man. I think that anything that fixes a problem in the blockchain is going to do amazing, and that fixes a problem. You know what I mean? Automating your DeFi and basically even down to the simple fact, like say for example, every 30 days you hate doing the ASIC miner for Pulse Bitcoin, right? You could actually tell Tetra to go in there and do it for you every 30 days. You don't even have to worry about it, right? And just the simple stuff like that. I think it's going to be phenomenal, man.
Yeah. So for in terms of specifically for Fast Abdul's question, the rocket pool fork with ICOSA Hedron stakes for endless perpetual gains, like that's obviously a possibility. Anything you want to plug together, you can do it with TETRA. So like off the top of my head, like one easy one, not really including the Hedron ICOSA stuff, or one with doing the Hedron ICOSA stuff, maybe is like you have your stakes for Hedron ICOSA, you end it, you take a certain percentage, sell it to Pulse, and then put it in the rocket pool fork on Pulsechain to earn yield with that profit that you skimmed off into Pulsechain, right? So you just have that automated for you. And then there are ways where, like, I think if you like get penalized as a rocket pool validator, like the ICOSA or the rocket pool token, and then for the fork, the ICOSA token is the insurance, and so that gets auctioned off. So you could probably automate like bids for like auctioning that off, basically. But yeah, like literally any protocol you can connect together and automate transactions across each other. And I'm going to be going, go ahead.
Including like a dead man switch.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Like I love that part a lot, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to like have to teach my wife all these crazy DeFi, you know, like I would be here for months trying to train her, but like if we have a dead man switch that just is going to funnel all my funds as its stuff is coming out.
Yeah.
And
you think of it this way. You could hook the dead man switch up to Coast, liquidate all of your tokens, send every stable coin to the Coast protocol, and then have it go straight into your wife's bank account. So like they don't even have to touch the crypto anymore.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Like if you just don't want them to have to deal with it and you just want them to have the cash and just so they can do what they need to, like you can have it automatically do that.
Yeah, you don't want the money going to waste, right? It's like all that economic energy sitting in there doing nothing. I mean, I want my baby to have that. I want my wife to have it, and I think TETRA gives that capability, man. I mean, it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, I know Matty Allen's creating one too that has something similar, but it only does that one feature. But TETRA, man, you have so many different optionalities. The stuff that you're creating with your charts. Red Squirrel's another one. Red Squirrel, man, he's another real creative as far as the DeFi compounding, and man, I'm gonna let you guys create all that stuff, and I'm just gonna like I'll implement what you guys got.
I am happy to do that for you, Corey, because I get a cut of those fees too.
I know.
So I am more than happy to make whatever strategy you want to make.
I love it.
I'm going to be making a ton of videos on like how to do stuff, how to like educational videos on how to use the system, because the TETRA token is a fee generating token. So all the fees that get collected in the protocol, I believe it's a 0.5% fee for each transaction that's paid in stables, will go to TETRA stakers. And so just really quickly, this is actually some numbers that I wanted to run on the stream just so everybody has it, knows it. So I like to frame everything in terms of like how much stuff I want to buy, in terms of like the aquatic animal leagues, where it's like
me too. I'm the same way.
Yeah, it's great, right? So it's like 1% is a whale, 0.1% is a shark, 0.01 is a dolphin. And I was saying this before, but like the dolphin class, the 0.01% of the supply is like the lowest point to reach escape velocity the fastest. That's like that threshold. Yeah. And like you saw with the calculations we did on Hex T-shares.
Right. And typically it's easy to do on new projects. Now, obviously Hex, that's a little more difficult because it's been around for a while. It's already did, a 10,000X, and now it's like maybe up 1,500X or whatever it is from its all-time low. So it's a little more difficult. But when you get in a new project like TETRA or ePhiat or Famous, it's easier to obtain those upper classes.
And that's how I like to frame how much I want to put into each of these projects. So I'll do the math that I'm doing right now. So I took the total supply, which is 12.5 billion, and I divided it by 100. So you need 125 million to have 1% of the supply, which is a whale. Divide that by 10. 12 million for a shark, and divide that by 10 one more time, and that's 1.125 million coins for a dolphin. So if we just take this number and then plug it into how much it costs in TETRA terms, in dollar terms, it is $268 now.
You just got me to. I'm literally going to FOMO in after I eat dinner. I'm going to get off the stream and go have dinner with my wife and my baby, and I'm going to FOMO on the TETRA now that I know these numbers.
Yep. My goal here a little bit was to pump the chart a little bit to get people to realize what the opportunity is. But like, it's not just that, you add that zero on top of it. It's almost about $3,000 and you're a shark. Right.
Yeah.
And the total supply is out. This is all that there's going to be. There's going to be some staking rewards.
We have the total supply out now.
Yeah. So what happened is the contract was redeployed. They updated some things. And so the TRA token, that's gone. That's nothing. And the TETRA token, if you know the ticker is different, it's TETRA now.
I noticed that.
That everybody who was holding, when they deployed the new contract, they airdropped the same amount that you were holding. And then they distributed the rest of the tokens for the private round of investors. And the let me just pull it up in the Telegram.
And what was the total supply again?
12 billion.
It's 12 billion.
Yeah. So if you go to the TETRA Telegram, in here it'll explain everything that it did. See, the old TRA symbol was causing some confusion with another token, so they were able to get TETRA. And then, so what's next is so phase 2 full and final airdrop to reflection state sacrificers and TETRA private round investors today. This has happened. So this was the bulk of the tokens that got distributed, and then there's still an airdrop on May 4th to the top 300 Telegram members, and then the PLSX sacrificers who claimed.
Yeah, I put my public address in that.
Nice. Yeah, so you'll get a little airdrop of that, and then the Prism staking pools will be distributing TETRA to people who stake TETRA on the way lead up to the actual protocol launch.
Did he keep some TETRA put aside, like in a contract
It's
or something for the stakers?
Yeah, I believe it's in the TETRA contract.
And you're counting that in that 12 billion total supply, right?
Yes, that is all part of the 12 billion total supply. I believe that I don't think new coins are going to be minted. I think they exist and they'll be distributed out. Stu, if you're listening and I'm wrong, please correct me. But that is my current understanding of things. And let me see if there's anything else important. I believe we have some
the Telegram and ask.
Yeah. Application launch, so the actual protocol, the goal right now is the 31st of August. So Q3.
Q3?
Yeah. And then saying, so that's the Pulsechain launch. I'm sorry. Wait, no. Yeah, TETRA on Pulsechain 31st. So it looks like they're launching on Pulsechain first. And then the staking pools, the Prism staking pools, will be available on May 14th, unless the Pulsechain mainnet is live. Then it'll be on Pulsechain. Yeah. But yeah, so there's that update. $3,000 to be a shark, and $300 to be a dolphin. So
just when I thought I wasn't going to buy no crypto today,
you came on my channel and that convinced you on another token.
Oh man, I love the protocol, man. I don't want to miss out on. I think it's going to be massive, man. I really do. It's going to have so much use case. It fixes a problem in DeFi.
Yeah.
Just the way Zapier fixes stuff in Web 2. Zapier and what is that? If then that, whatever that.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing.
Yeah. It's the exact same thing. So I mean, like, it's literally endless use case. Any protocol building on any EVM chain has incentive to use it, especially for their members. If they say, hey, look at the strategies that you can do with our protocol. Well, guess what? If you just click this button, we've created a script for you to automatically do it, so you don't have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's such a like, if I put myself in the shoes of like a developer or like a marketer for a specific protocol, and it just seems like a no-brainer tech to integrate into whatever I'm building.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that'll generate, and you don't even need the Tetra token to participate, right? Like if you don't want to put money into it, you can still take advantage of the baseline protocol. You know, at the prices it's at now, it's actually still at about a 2.2x from the sacrifice price.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we had some big dumpage, and then now it's bought up and dumping a little bit again. So, you know, hey guys, there's some alpha for you guys. It's the L. Yeah, this is a good idea. Peso dude, LUSD. So that's the pool. It's a V2 pool, and you have to trade. I think you have to use LUSD. The routers aren't routing through it correctly because there's not that much liquidity. So you need to swap for the LUSD yourself and then pull up that pool. Yeah. Zenny Wise, that's pretty good. That's funny. Damn. But all right, Corey, we're at a good hour and 10 minutes. I got to study. I think I procrastinated enough. It's like
I'm going to hop off and eat dinner, man, and come in here and watch the Tetra chart.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. I'm definitely planning to have you and Dane on for like an official, you know, stream where we can all sit down for an hour and have a good chat. I think that's where we can put together a nice conversation.
Man, like I said, I love your content. I love the guys who are in the community who are just kind of like giga brains in the community, putting out all the numbers and math and kind of breaking things down and simplifying it. Because that's what you do. That's what you've done for me as far as Hedron and Icosa, man. So just keep up the good work. Keep doing you, man. And we'll have to have you back on our show too, man. It'd be a blast.
Absolutely. Actually, before we sign out, let me throw your YouTube channel.
It's Crypto Millionaires of Corey Geary. Go. And then Dane's is Money Talk with Dane. We both have our own YouTube, and then we always stream in together, and that's the DeFi Crypto Alliance show.
Yeah, you guys have been doing well. You got over 1,000 subscriers now. Like you guys,
I know.
You guys have been pumping the numbers.
I know. I hit over 1,000 last weekend, and I was very, very shocked.
Yeah.
I was like,
you guys always go live right around when I finish my first patient, and I'm cleaning my operatory and writing my notes. So I always tune in and listen in.
Yeah, man. We appreciate the support for sure, man. So
of course. All right, guys. My Twitter's below. If you want to get in contact with me, give me a follow, like, comment, subscribe. DM me on Twitter if you want to consult. Keep an eye out for the courses coming out with me in Access Alive, and that is it.
See you guys.